Perfect.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a really big treat in store for you because we have a very special guest with us, Cindy Shulson. Let me tell you a little bit about Cindy and her background. She's a founder of Marketing from Within, and she shows coaches and consultants how to stand out in this very noisy online world by marketing with heart rather than hype. She brings a decade of marketing experience working for such companies as Coca-Cola and Visa, combined with a decade of online marketing to create a paradigm shift in how marketing can be done with integrity and heart. Cindy's the creator of the Marketing with Heart journey, designed to simplify marketing while honoring your vision, value, and voice. And one of her greatest gifts is helping her clients sort through their brain dump of ideas so they can find the golden nuggets that make them shine in their own unique way. Cindy, it's so wonderful to have you here. And I know that, you produce such amazing results with your clients, and you really love to simplify the whole branding, the whole branding area, because this can be so difficult, especially when you're starting out and when you're trying to get your business going. And you have a unique way of helping your clients to brand so they can really stand out from the crowd. And that's so, so exciting.
Thank you, Nina. Yeah, I think simplicity has always been at the forefront of my business, just because I started when my kids were really young, and I didn't want to make things complicated. So I just always had a simple approach, and my clients do appreciate that as well, because why make things more complicated than we need to?
Exactly. And I like simplicity. It works very, very well, especially in this very complicated, noisy world that we're in the online world. So what do you mean by gifts, and how do we, first of all, what do you mean by our gifts? Let's start there. Let's start from the beginning.
Yes. And this is a great topic because it's something that we struggle with. We'll talk about the challenges in a moment, but I really do believe that we're all born with certain innate gifts, every single one of us. And it's funny because I've had 2 different clients that do Akashic readings. Have you ever done Akashic readings?
Never done that.
That's what it kind of helps you do too. It kind of can help you tap into your gifts. And they always have identified my gifts that are just innate. We have a natural ability at something.
And how do you spell Akashic?
It's AKASHIC. It's just one of the ways to tap into your gifts.
In case anyone wants to explore this later.
Yeah. And so it's one of the ways, but the reality is like, if we just take that step back and really look at ourselves, and I'll show you some questions to ask yourself in a little bit, we can often discover what those gifts are. And what happens is, like, sometimes we have these natural abilities and we can develop them over time. We'll also learn new skills. Obviously, we're constantly learning, but they won't necessarily be aligned with those natural strengths. So for instance, I'll take you from my own background. I've had the natural ability of communication. And it's something that, I grew up speaking 3 different languages. My mom had me edit her thesis when I was a high school student. Like, it was just a natural gift. But I completely ignored it, like when you're going into college and you're kind of at that place of you don't even know what your gifts are. I studied mathematics. Yeah, I'm good at math, but is it my natural gift? Is that innate ability? No, it's a skill that I developed and strengthened over time. So I think that it's really important to identify what those gifts are, because we want to be able to build our business from that place of strength, right? So do you want me to just kind of jump into, talking about that a little bit? Or does anybody have
to do that? And also, for everyone who's here, please jump in as well. Jump into chat, ask questions, comments, anything. There's something you want to ask about your business, about how to build your brand, how to find your gift. Please do interact fully, because Cindy is an absolute expert in anything to do with branding and finding your gifts, and she wants to share everything. So please do participate fully, because this is your call as well.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I really, this isn't just me and Nina talking. Like, even when I run my group programs, it's like everybody talks because everybody has a contribution to make. So please jump in whenever you like. You don't need to, raise your hand. Just unmute and talk. That's the beauty of Zoom.
Or if you can type into chat, then we can pick up your questions and we can run with them. So please do participate.
Yeah, whatever works for you. That's great. So here's the thing. So we want to build their business from that place of strength. Because when we do, we're working from this place we're in flow, right? We're in this place of flow and strength when we're tapping into our gifts. And if you don't, then I find what happens is that you're working way harder than you need to. You're not necessarily doing your greatest work, and you're not having that full confidence. And you help so much with that mindset piece. But when you're working from that place of strength, it's a lot easier to be confident in your abilities. So, and one thing I always want to remind people of, no matter when you start your business, you still come into it with certain gifts, because your value as an entrepreneur really isn't based on when you started your business, but on all the gifts and experiences you bring into your business. So we want to make sure that we're leveraging those. And I'll talk more about how to leverage your gifts in your business in a little bit. But let me go to Nina for any thoughts, or anybody else. And then we can talk about the next part of, why do we struggle with identifying our gifts? How do we identify our gifts and all of that? But just wanted to check in.
So many of us, we can be building businesses on something that we think we should be doing, or something that we feel that, someone else is doing that. And I sort of have an affinity with that, but we may not be tapping into our true genius.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels a little bit off, or we're not able to articulate what we do, or we don't believe in the value because there's something that's not quite aligned.
Oh, that part of aligned is so important. So let's talk for a minute about, why we so struggle to identify our gifts. And this is where I'd really love to hear from some shares from you guys too, if you can relate to this, if you struggle to identify your gifts. So I've, after working with coaches and consultants since 2010, there's like a few key patterns I've seen. So first of all, we struggle because we're too close to our gifts to see them clearly. And so that's what I want to help you do today, is look at ourselves through a different lens. So that's part of it. The other big part is that we tend to overlook what we do that just comes so naturally to us, because we assume everybody else can do it too. And I've seen this so many times. It's like, well, that's not a gift. Everybody can do that. No, they can't. In fact, it's when it's something that comes so naturally to you, you assume everybody could do it too. That's your biggest key, that is your gift.
It can seem so obvious to you, but actually this is something, yeah. And
yes.
This is because Malika has just said the struggle is in monetizing my gifts more than identifying them.
And we'll talk about that. That's a great point. And please remind me.
Yes.
Please remind me if I forget after. The other thing that we do, and this is where Nina's so brilliant, is that we might say, well, I have this gift, but it's not just that other people have it, but they can do it better than me, or they've been doing it longer than me. And we start getting into this comparison game, and we end up devaluing our gift. We don't truly own the value of it. And that is, Nina, you have to address that for us, right?
Yes, absolutely. This is when we believe that we're not as good as other people. They get better results. They're better, they have a bigger website, and they're making more money than us. And therefore we start believing that we're not as good as them, and therefore our value isn't as high as them. And we start making that very innocent mistake of identifying who we are with our service and what we're offering. And we need to really separate who we are from our service, because then we can become much more clear about what we're offering. We don't take things personally. And when you've got a clear mind, then you're able to take some really great, big, bold actions around your business.
Yes, beautiful. Yes. Now, the other challenge is that, and tell me if you guys can relate to this one, sometimes we know our gifts, but we don't apply them in a way we're passionate about. And this is so important. This is where I think I've seen it happen many times, where people kind of fall. They start and it's not sustainable because their heart's not in it. So let me give you an example. Sometimes it's just a matter of taking that gift and applying it to a different audience. And I have 2 clients that went through this exact same thing. One client I just finished working with, she came to me and she was very successful. She's a mindset coach like Nina, but her audience, she was helping people who wanted to change careers. And it was, on paper, it sounded great because she has an HR background, but she wasn't passionate about it. And so we changed her branding, her positioning, her messaging, all of that, and her audience by looking at who she's really passionate about helping. And that was people who are stuck in corporate and want to be entrepreneurs. The same gift, but she's using it, she's applying it in a way that she's more passionate about. So it's really important that we align our gifts with our passions, right?
That makes absolute sense when there's all about alignment.
It really is. And I had another client, just give you another example. She's a sales training expert. She's phenomenal at it, but her background was in corporate. So she kept thinking she had to work with corporate people, but she wasn't passionate about it. And eventually she had that moment where it's like, oh my gosh, this is not the right audience for me. I'm not passionate about helping these corporate people. And now she's helping entrepreneurs with sales. And she just filled her first pilot program, and she's just in that state of flow because she's aligning her gifts with her passions. So if you have a gift and you're not alignment, then things will feel off.
Okay.
Right?
That makes absolute sense.
Should I just, let's see if there's any. Monetizing my gifts, comparison game is such a trap. Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments so far before we go into sort of identifying the gifts? It's a quiet group. Everybody's on mute.
I know. It's all different time zones around the world.
I love it.
I'm not quite sure, what's going on, but please do participate. We may call on some of you by name.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that could be interesting, couldn't it? But this is such an opportunity for you to get Cindy's expert help and advice. It really is. This is, why I asked her to do this training, because I know this is an area that so many people struggle with. And, you can be doing all this work, but if your branding isn't quite spot on, if you're not quite feeling that it's exactly what you want to offer, you're not talking to your ideal market, then this can be muted by host. Do you want to speak, Malika? Because if you do, then I can unmute you. Let me just unmute you. There we go. You are hopefully unmuted, Malika. So if you want to ask a question, then please do.
Yeah, I'm driving. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I was stuck in traffic, so I took advantage of it and started chatting. But when I wanted to answer, when you guys said there was a question, I didn't have a question, but I just wanted to let Cindy know that we're just soaking up everything you're saying because it's so awesome.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And Ryan said at work and listening secretly. Good.
We won't tell.
Yeah, we won't tell anyone.
All right. Well, let's get into identifying our gifts then, shall we? Let's talk about this, right?
Yes.
And then we'll talk about how to leverage and monetize our gifts. Okay. So the reality is we all have many different gifts. Would you guys agree? We all have many different talents and gifts. So what I found is in defining your marketing and your branding is we want to hone in on that one special gift that we're going to become known as the expert in. So this is tied to this whole idea of niche, right? And I approach niche a little bit differently than other people do. Most people will just say, well, just choose a target market and figure out what they want. And I approach it from within. So what I do is actually help you look within yourself at your gifts, your experiences, your passions, and figure out that solution that you're here to provide. And then we can match that solution with the right audience for your solution and for you. And that's where that alignment comes in. Remember, I told you about the sales trainer who was working with corporate, but she wanted to work with entrepreneurs. So even though she knew what her solution was, which was for her teaching the soft side of selling, she had to align it with the right audience. But first we had to look within her at what is that solution? And you have to drill down as much as you can. She can't just say, I'm a sales coach, because there's many of those. What's the specific solution based on her gifts? And her specific solution based on her gifts was about the inner side of selling. So we have to, that's where it gets challenging for us, because we want to build that platform that we're just the expert in. So I want to share some questions just to get the juices flowing. This isn't comprehensive by any means in terms of how I do this, because that's a whole hour training, but just to get the juices flowing for you. So one question is, when you're with clients and with friends, what is it that you do that they say, oh my gosh, you're so good at that? And before I move to the next question, I'd love to hear some answers. When you're with clients and friends, what do you do that they say, you are so good at that? I know you've all heard it.
That is such a great thing. Karen says creative problem solving.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Love that. Love that.
For me, people say I'm a good listener, which really helps with my work with the mindset coaching. So I'd love to hear what everyone else, what their gifts are, what they're told they're really good at doing.
Yes. What is that? What is that thing that, and I love creative problem solving. I just helped my son, who's going hopefully off to college next year, write a whole essay about creative problem solving. That is such a gift.
It is, absolutely. And Malika says listening and helping others gain clarity. Ryan, humor. Robbie, I touch a spot that unlocks the physical tension instantly.
Ooh. Wow.
I think many of us need your help.
I know I can tell you anything from Lucinda. I'm not sure what that means.
And I can tell you anything. Could you elaborate on that, Lucinda, please? So there's some amazing gifts within this group.
So let's go through some more of the questions to help you. And what we're going to do is then start spotting some patterns. And by the way, that's one of my other gifts, is the patterns. I used to work in market research, so I'm going to see if I can help you spot some patterns, okay?
Fantastic. And Una says, understanding the reasons why a child behaves in a certain way and how to help them.
Oh, wow.
It's a very precious gift as well.
Yes. That's wonderful.
So Lucinda says, they tell me all their woes and worries, and they won't go anywhere else, and they know they'll be heard. And obviously feel very safe telling you everything.
So that's that listening skill.
It's the listening skill. Yes.
Yeah, the compassion skill. So what do your friends and clients repeatedly ask you for advice about? What do you often just say, like, how do you do this? Or what's your suggestion on this? Now, I also want you to look back throughout your career and your professional life and your personal life. And think about the natural strengths you've used throughout your personal and professional life. And I want to share a quick story with you that I've told Nina before. So I told you that I have this innate gift for messaging. And I want to tell, can I tell a quick story? Is that okay?
Oh, please do, yes.
Okay. So, and I told you I studied math, right? I ended up going to do my MBA in marketing and came back and I did an interview, and this woman who had a consulting firm in communications just hired me on the spot. I have no idea why, but I'm so grateful to her. And it started my career in communications. I ended up gravitating back to my natural gift. I worked for Cooke, I worked for Visa, I worked for consulting firms. Wonderful career. Then I had kids, started my business after a bit, and I want to tell you something. For the first almost 2 years of my business, I never once considered how to use my gifts in my business. Never even thought about it. Not once. So when you're doing this, looking back at your professional life and your personal life, this is where there's often the meat is. This is like looking at your experiences. And you'll see that there are certain gifts that you used consistently throughout your personal or professional life. And what we want to do is find a way to leverage them in a way you're passionate about. And the reason I never thought about it was because I said, well, that was corporate. I'm done with that. Now I'm building a business. But here's the thing, if you can take those gifts, but apply them in a way you're passionate about, that's where you have the gold. So who can share, when you think about it from that perspective, what are some of the gifts you've used consistently throughout your professional and or personal life?
That's a great question.
Robbie says courage and creativity. Very cool. Una, healing misunderstandings between others started already in my family of origin.
Interesting. And Gillian said weight loss, problems with hubby, making a big decision about where to invest or what to do next. So she seems as if you're torn in different directions there.
So here's the thing, Gillian, that I'd encourage you to do. So we're looking, remember, at a gift. We're looking at the gift so we can help identify the solution you're here to provide. So when you think about those different scenarios and experiences, what's at the heart of the gift that allowed you to achieve results, whether it was with weight loss or your relationship, etc. Because we start with the gift and then we can direct it towards a solution, if that makes sense. Does that help you think about it in a different way? So what I'm encouraging you to do is to take a step back from going straight for, here's the problem I help solve for my ideal clients. We're taking a step back. We're thinking bigger. We're in this brainstorming mode of what are some of my natural gifts.
Yes. So rather than jumping to the solution or what we think is the solution to someone's problem, we're still looking within ourselves first.
Exactly. Exactly.
Julian says, Can you unmute me? Yes, of course I can. Just one moment. Let me find you. And then I will do that. Okay.
Oh, there she is. Hey, Julian.
Unmuted.
So I tried unmuting myself and it didn't work, but I thought I would jump in since you said we could unmute and just have a little conversation. No, I think this is a great, a great starter. And so I guess maybe one of my gifts then would be more like getting to the root of a problem, like not focusing maybe on the superficial top layer, but really getting underneath as to what's going on under the surface, or maybe why. Like my big question is always why. Like, why are we doing this? Why do we want this? What are we really striving for? So maybe that's more of my gift, is like being able to kind of peel back the layers more.
It sounds like you're a strategic thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you don't just say, whether it's weight loss, here's a diet. You go to what's the strategy, what are the underlying reasons that you're gaining weight, and how do we create strategies that are really going to work for you?
Yes. Yeah. It's much more around, right? Why are you reaching for food either when you're not hungry, or why are you reaching for that food in particular? Like we know what to do or what to eat or what not to eat for the most part, but we don't do it. So it's more in that, like, how do we implement the behavioral change and like do the things we say we're going to do in a way that feels really good.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. That's a perfect example of how to peel back and get to the heart of it. And would you say it's the same gift in the relationship realm?
I think so. I think it's kind of like you said, that same like maybe approach or philosophy or method, then that's applied to these different areas. And maybe that's why it seems so easy or natural to talk about those things as well, because it's kind of the same process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Jillian, can I ask what is it that you do now in your work?
So I'm a health coach right now, but the way I see it is I'm a health and life coach. And so while the first month or two we talk a lot about food and body image and things like that, most of the time, like when we get to months 3 through 6, we're talking about like marriage, spouses, kids. We're talking about a lot of things other than just the food. And I'm not sure. I think that's one of the areas around the branding that I'm not sure if I want to be a life coach that focuses on health and weight loss and body image as well, or if I want to stay in as this health coach brand that also helps you like kind of get it together in your life as a whole, like not just create the body you crave, but how to create a life you actually love.
Okay. So we're going to talk about this in a little bit, about how to take that same gift and apply it in different ways to help your clients. Mm-hmm. So I don't know enough about your business to say how you should brand yourself. But I do know that if you want to think about that, so we go from gift to solution to really nailing the ideal client. We've got to put all those pieces together in alignment. But you also have to think about, like, as I said, what is the thing you're going to become known for? Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure it's really focused. Mm-hmm. So, if you get into, if your hook is the body image and the weight and all that stuff, mm-hmm. How you feel about your body, then that's your hook. Once they're in your world, you can help them with the other things. Mm-hmm. But I think it could probably dilute your brand until you become really, really well known to start getting into those other areas in terms of your messaging.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks.
Got some more comments coming in.
Yeah.
So Lucinda has said, it's an interesting question. I got stuck with it because I don't think people ask me for guidance. I don't think people ask me for anything, but they know I will give them space. Maybe I'm missing something.
Lucinda, do you want to unmute?
Lucinda, would you like to have a quick chat with Cindy? Let me know in chat if you'd like to unmute. Meanwhile, we'll keep reading down. So Una's saying, I think my gift is being aware of things that others tend to miss. People come to me for wisdom. So you see what other people can't see. Okay, Lucinda, I will unmute you and then you can talk directly to Cindy. There we go. You're unmuted.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There she is. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of had a sort of mini heart attack when you asked the question, what do people come to me for guidance about? And I went, well, I don't think anybody ever asks me for anything very specifically. But I think sort of connected to your first question around what people say I do well, I think it is something about giving them space. And then I thought, do I not value myself enough that I think actually people do ask me for guidance? And actually I don't hear them asking me for guidance. They know what they'll get from me.
And what's that, Lucinda?
But, well, I think it's just that I think I'm probably very grounded and I give them the space and the confidence to be able to begin to talk. But I'm not sure that I would ever say that people come to me and say, right, I want you to give me some guidance on. And maybe I don't need to give them the guidance because I guess that's very much how I see myself. I'm very much a facilitator of their process. So they come with their solutions. I'm a creative arts therapist, so I use lots of creative arts media to help people explore what's going on for them. And maybe it is just that's what they know they'll get from me. I don't give advice. I don't give guidance as a rule. It's about just giving them that that space and that I suppose that confidence to be able to look at what's going on for them. And maybe that's enough.
That is a huge gift. What it sounds to me like what you're doing is you're using creativity to help them tap into the best part of themselves, and you help them discover that for themselves.
Yeah, I would say.
And that's a beautiful gift. You're, in my marketing, I talk about marketing that honors you, your value, your voice, and your vision. It sounds like what you're doing is very similar. You're using creativity to help them honor themselves and find the answers within themselves.
Yeah.
And you talk about it as space. I see it as honor.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Robbie's saying. You honor people in the capacity to access their inner resources. That's exactly right, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a wonderful gift.
It is. It is. So now, if I may be, I'm a very direct person. So if I have permission to be direct, you need to honor that in yourself. What you do for your clients, you need to honor in yourself.
Yes. Yeah. And I think I recognised that in, chatting. It was just when you said, what guidance do you give? What do they come to you for? It's like, they don't come to me. They never come and say, how can you help me with this? But actually, I think it's not that I don't have a gift, and I recognise that, and maybe they don't ask in a direct way.
And part of it, Lucinda, can be because you're not necessarily communicating your gift as effectively as you could be in your marketing. And so that's the whole purpose of this too. And we'll talk about like, what do you do with your gift once you find it? But you want, if you know what that gift is, and I think we've had a bit of a breakthrough in what that is, then we need to be intentional about communicating it in our marketing so we become known for that. And that's how you create a brand that you become known for.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really, really helpful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
And it seems that you have to be really comfortable with your gift and not be embarrassed by it or worried about what people think about your gift. And that can be something that can cause resistance as well in really putting out what we want to do. And then we can sidestep it and then compromise and do what we think other people want us to do. But we're not really doing what we're passionate about.
So, and what I've found, I'm a big believer that we build, and Nina, this might go against you, but I think we build confidence by taking action. When we start using our gifts and we're helping clients and we start seeing results, that builds so much confidence in us. So we can't wait for everything to be perfect to start helping people. We've got to, like my whole motto in business is build on success. So, we get the strategic foundation right, then we start taking action and then we improve upon it and start seeing results.
Yeah. And imperfection is absolutely fine.
Yes, very much so.
Otherwise we would never take action if we waited for the perfect, for it all to be perfect and wonderful.
So once we sort of start doing, sorry, I'm trying to read the chats as well. Let's see if there's one that came in. Okay, so Una says a great question. It's about bringing it down to one single gift. So that's the point, and that's what we were talking about with, I think it was Jillian, is like you want to have that one thing that you just become really known for. That's going to be the heart of your brand, right? It doesn't mean you don't have other gifts. You do. We're all multi-talented. So I mentioned to you, my main gift is messaging, but I'm also really good at the market research and the finding the patterns. That's another gift. So it's not like you don't have multiple gifts, but we want to identify that one that you're just going to become known as the expert in. Because we need to have that platform that we stand on so we can stand out from everybody else. And that's just one of the dimensions of your platform. That's only one of the ways you stand out, but it's an important one.
Una, would you like to speak to Cindy directly? If you do, just let me know and I can unmute you. So just let me know in chat. Yes, please. There you go. You are unmuted.
Oh, there's Una. Hey, Una.
Hi, Cindy. So interesting. Thank you. And I mean, I'm a parenting mentor, and I help parents radically love their children to happiness and great behavior. And that feels like, I've identified that as my kind of, what I do. But obviously, when you asked me that question, I said, well, actually, I kind of see what others miss, or people come to me for wisdom or so on. And, I kind of wonder, does that, the radically loving was something that I chose to kind of express the nature of what I teach, and it is my gift, but I don't know if I would have expressed it like that if I.
So what you're saying is like you've jumped right into the messaging bit.
Yeah, I've jumped into.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's just ahead of what we're doing today. So that's okay. So the gift that you use to help the parents radically love their children is what? What is the gift that underlies it?
I think that it's the gift of helping them to see their child from their child's point of view, to step into their child's shoes, and so that everything becomes simpler, and misunderstandings dissolve, and power struggles are gone, because they become so I help them connect.
So that is the gift. That's the heart of the gift, is being able for the parents to be able to see things from a child's perspective, so they can build that relationship of mutual trust and connection. So you're getting in, you're just a few steps ahead in terms of the messaging, and that's fine. But the gift is that. And that's one of the things that you want to identify and communicate in your marketing, because it's something that will set you apart from other parenting coaches.
Okay, that is really, really useful, because I probably haven't expressed that so expressly. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Great job. Yeah, wonderful.
Okay. Great, this is great stuff.
Wonderful.
We're working through them. Anyone else wants to pop their hand up and have a chat with Cindy, let us know in chat.
Yeah, and then we'll go into, after we're done, into the what do we do with those gifts when we find them. So let's see, Karen wanted to speak.
You would like to have a chat? Okay, I will unmute you. There you go.
Oh, there's Karen. I'm always like looking through the Brady Bunch. Yeah, okay, here we go.
Yes. So I'm not sure how to say it, but I guess I help people sort of believe in themselves and what's possible in their lives and in communication and relationships. It sounds very unglamorous, but I don't know how to say it. I can usually make pretty major shifts in a really short period of time. And part of it's the believing in people and allowing them to see that. And then part of it is the creative problem solving. So
you probably use the creative problem solving to help them believe in themselves. I'm guessing the two are tied.
Interesting. Yes, it is. It's like it's naughty, Yeah, I guess I look at things a little bit differently, and maybe things that people take for granted. And I do think I'm often dealing with people that are like putting others before themselves and not speaking up and things like that. So, they're kind of running up against what they think they should do. And then I show them what's other avenues there are for them to pursue, instead of just doing like the one thing they feel like they should be doing that they don't really want to do.
That's the creative problem solving. So that's the gift that you're using to help them with the solution. Do you see that, what I'm saying, how the dots connect?
Yeah, so can you say what we just got to? I'll write it down.
So you're using creative problem solving to help them see themselves and their relationships in a different way.
What she said. Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Okay. We'll get the replay. You can listen to it again.
That's great.
Yeah. And it's really important, because there are other people who help, they might come at it from a different angle. They might use mindset techniques to help you see things differently, but you help them create you use creative problem solving to help them do that.
That's great. Thank you. That's perfect.
Great gift.
Yeah.
Wonderful gift. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Does anybody else want to jump in and talk about your gift before we go on to the next part?
Can I just say, Robbie, you have a wonderful way of summing things up. You're very intuitive. And you were talking about, I think you were talking about, Karen, restoring trust. You help people restore trust in themselves. Got wonderful words.
And I do want to point out to you, and this, I can't get into the whole details now, but I want you to just think about this. We have a gift, we have a solution, we have a result, we have an ideal client. There are all these pieces. They all have to align. And then we put things together in a message, and that's just part of our message. There's a whole other level to your message. And I'll tell you after about how you can learn more about that piece. But right now, see, some of you, like Una, she was going straight to the message. Other people are going into the problem they solve and the result that they help people achieve and who those people are. So there's all these moving pieces, and they all have to be aligned in your business and clear in your business and communicated clearly for you to be able to really connect with people. So our topic today was at the very starting point of it all, which was looking within at your gifts. But that doesn't mean we stop there. Then we get into the solution, the result, the ideal client, the messaging, all these other pieces we have to put together. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense. It all has to align. And then that's where our passion just flows through then, doesn't it? There's no resistance coming through because everything is congruent.
Yes, and it's strategic. That's my biggest thing. We have to build a strategic foundation for our business before we start taking all these actions and getting nowhere. So, I'm doing a webinar in a couple of weeks. I have this slide of a cake. And it's like this, what we tend to do is we try to decorate the cake and put icing on it and make it look beautiful, but it hasn't fully baked yet. And what happens? The cake collapses. So we want to that's what we're doing right now. We're starting to bake our cake.
It's really worth spending the time on building the strong foundation first before we start presenting it.
Yes. Exactly. Okay. Jillian says, I used to be a baker. That's a great analogy. Yes, I like it too. I think it's fun. All right. So I do have a call at the top of the hour. So I do want to go on to the next piece, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what do we do with our gifts once we find them? So here's the thing. Obviously, we want to leverage our gifts in our business. And so that's how we start looking at our gifts, coming up. That's one of the pieces. Our gifts, our experiences, and our passions is what helps us determine what the solution is that we provide and who our ideal client is that we're here to help. Okay, so that's the first part. But there's two other things that we want to do with our gifts that I really want to inspire upon you. That's not a sentence. That I want to inspire you. I don't know how to express that. So much for my messaging expertise. So I want you to think about how you can apply your gifts in new ways after you get that foundation in place, like we talked about with Jillian, beyond that initial solution. This is more for the growth stage of your business, not that initial, once you're past the foundational thing. And I just want to inspire you to do this because often we're sitting on a gold mine and we don't think about how to create it. So I'll use my own example again, if I can. So when I started my business, actually my first business was called Attract Your Niche, and I help people with the niche bit. I rebranded after 5 years as Marketing from Within, and I realized my main expertise was really messaging. It took me a while. Now, I started just with the marketing message, and I have a whole program on that. And then you know what I realized? Is oh my goodness, how do I take that skill of messaging and apply it in different ways? So now I help clients with things like messaging for your webinars, messaging in terms of a whole program on copywriting, messaging for your speaking, messaging for, your website, your landing page, all of the different ways we need to communicate our message instead of just that one solution. So that somebody was asking about monetizing. You monetize your solution, your gift initially by solving one problem for one audience. But as your business evolves and grows, you want to think about how you can take that gift and apply it in different ways to help your ideal clients beyond that initial solution. Does that make sense? I know I just said a lot.
Could you say it again, please?
I don't know. So we take that gift, we always start with that narrow focus, one solution, one audience. We have to start there. But as our business evolves, we want to think about how to leverage that gift in different ways to offer different solutions for our ideal clients. Because we start, narrow, one solution, one audience. And then as you start evolving your business and growing your business, you might say, okay, well, how can I do that? And if you think about it, if you think of like, that intersection, one solution, one audience, well, you could take that solution and you could reach different audiences with it. That's one way to grow your business. To be honest, that's a little bit more challenging because, especially if you're building your business online, you want to grow a targeted list of your ideal clients. And so now you've got to kind of build a whole other list and it's a little bit more challenging. Not to say that you can't do it, you certainly can, but it would take a whole other marketing strategy. To me, what's even easier, and we're all about simplicity, is think about what are other ways I can apply that gift to solve other problems for my ideal clients. So we grow in that dimension. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect sense. Yeah.
So, and then the other thing that I just want to really impress upon you, and we talked about this with Lucinda, is what do you do with your gifts? Communicate them consistently in your marketing. You need to let people know and shine that spotlight on what makes you so brilliant. You got to put that into your marketing. And I know it's hard to do. Like, we get humble and we're like afraid of doing that. But, the truth is you're already known for that from your clients. If you go through your testimonials and you go through and look for the patterns in them, you'll find some of your gifts in there. So now it's your job as a marketer to communicate them.
Brilliant. Yes, because if you don't communicate them, then more people can't find you. So
Yeah.
you want to help as many people as possible. You've got to get your message out there.
Yes. I think somebody had a question.
Robbie was a question, so I'm going to unmute you now, Robbie. You should be able to speak now.
Okay, thank you. This is the female Robbie.
Oh, hey, Robbie. I wasn't sure what to expect.
So, yeah, I finally came to the idea of a niche, and I picked helping pelvic pain because so many women have pelvic pain. And so one of the things I do is untangle this hot mess. Like if you have bubble gum in your hair, it's just a disaster to try to untangle it all. And in the pelvis, there are nerves and blood vessels and things that get all gummed together. So one of the things I do is I can track the vagus nerve all the way back up to the skull. But it was getting so complicated. I thought, oh my God, I've just got to focus on the pelvis and have a narrow message of, have a simple question. I found a simple question about like how much leaking is okay. How much leaking is okay, which it's not okay to leak. No leaking is okay. And we have a whole industry selling pads to women who aren't getting their leaking fixed. So the restoring the pelvic is complicated because it's the mind, body, spirit. There's a lot of shame and humiliation and betrayal and things like that. And then on the physical level, there's just so much wear and tear from trying to birth babies and things. So dialing it down into being a tiny little niche and just focusing on one solution, which is to not smell like pee. But then opening it up down the road to grow it into other classes that could take the vagus nerve and then solve a problem for how does the vagus help you with your breast health or your thyroid health, or other parts of the body.
Okay. So the thing is, though, like Robbie, obviously these women who are experiencing pelvic pain, most of them have no idea even what a vagus nerve is, right?
Right.
So you're reaching them in your messaging with the challenges that they're struggling with, whether it's leaking or pain or whatever other symptoms they're struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're educating them, right, about why they're having this, and you're showing them how to manage it and correct it, etc. And so what I'm hearing you say is, then now that they have this awareness and you've helped them with the pelvic pain, how can you then help them with other types of symptoms they might be having?
Well, yeah, what I want to do is teach massage therapists how to do a better job in the pelvis.
Ah, okay. So your ideal clients are not the people with the pelvic pain, it's actually the massage therapists.
Who are doing a lousy job.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So can I zero in on the question? Was there a specific question?
Yeah. Of course, now I've forgotten how I worded it. I guess because the pelvis is so taboo. My question is, how wild and crazy to get when, like, I'm. There are people marketing the pelvis who are sex therapists, but I'm not that kind of. I want people to have wild wisdom, but I don't want to be, vulgar.
Yeah, and that's another important part of sort of, your unique marketing is honoring your values and who you are and how you want to show up in your marketing. So remember, though, your ideal client are these massage therapists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your messaging is to them, then it takes on a whole other dimension. It's how to help your clients, you meaning the massage therapist, with their pains, with their pelvic pain, right? And they're going to be more on the technical side, if you will.
Yeah.
So if that sort of, you could speak to them at that level in a way. And when you talk about the whatever nerve you said it was, I can't even remember, they'll know what that is. So there's less educating that you have to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much, Robbie. Ryan makes a great point. Think about a famous hamburger joint in your town who uses "best burger in town" as a headline, and they're not scared to announce how great their burger is and lets people know who they are and they should try it at least once. So sometimes it's just having that courage and confidence to tell everyone that you're brilliant at what you do. You're getting great results. You have the evidence to show that.
And that's a great point too. I mentioned testimonials before. Testimonials are a great way to let others do the bragging for you. I'm pretty shy about that kind of stuff too, to be honest with you. So I love to use clients, take a testimonial, turn it into a case study. And that really shows, what that does is it shows people, okay, that person was struggling with this problem, so am I, and she helped them create this result. Maybe she can help me too. So it takes the focus off of you and puts the focus on the client. So for those of us who are a little less, shy, who are a little bit more shy about, blasting the world about how amazing we are, I love case studies because it really lets the spotlight be on the results for the client.
So true. Brilliant. We've got a few minutes left. So is there anything else you would like to say about our gifts and how to leverage them and monetize them and, tell the world about them?
Well, so
I have one more question for you at the end as well. So I want to leave a couple of minutes for that.
So no, it's really, it's identifying them, owning them, communicating them, and leveraging them. So we've got to go through all those different elements that we talked about, right?
Absolutely.
And I think we've covered a lot. I feel like we haven't missed anything. I'm looking through some of my notes here.
And we don't seem to have any other, anything
No,
else coming up in the chat right now. So I know you're not here, you know, you haven't come with anything to sell, but I was wondering whether there's any free information, anything that, you know, we can share while we're here so people can find out more, maybe get some, you know, more detailed information about how they can brand themselves and get their messaging right.
Oh, thank you for that. Well, there's two opportunities I'll share with you. One is you can certainly just go to my website, Marketing from Within, and I have an authentic brand training. And in that training, I go into like the 3 things that your ideal clients really care about before they decide to hire you. Because when I talk about a brand, authentic brand, it's talking about beneath the surface. It's not the glitter of your visual brand. It's your authentic brand of what you really stand for and who you really are. Yes, marketingfromwithin.com. Thank you.
Excellent.
But the other thing that I'm doing actually next, starting on Monday, is we talked about your gifts, and that's one part of what makes you unique and special, but there are other layers. And so I'm actually doing a free challenge, a 5-day challenge that starts next week called Find Your Marketing Wow. And we're going to go through the other 4 layers of what makes you unique and irresistible to your ideal clients. So we've only touched on one of them. So I'd love to invite you to join me for that as well.
Findyourmarketingwow.com.
Yes, findyourmarketingwow.com. So it's going to be really fun. You're going to get a video training each day. There's going to be an assignment, a quick assignment each day. I'm giving out prizes every day. And then after that, I'll also be doing a free webinar where now that we've kind of found that wow, I want to show you how to create marketing and how to enroll your ideal clients with marketing that's really true to who you are.
And it's that where the decorated cake comes in.
Yes, you'll see my cake slide there. But yes, if you go to findyourmarketingwow.com, you can sign up for the free challenge. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I bet it will be. I'm going to sign up for that. That sounds really good.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good. So any other final questions, comments? I know Cindy has to go in a couple of minutes. She's got a call at the top of the hour. Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank you. And Malika, it was just findyourmarketingwow.com is where you can sign up for the challenge.
Excellent. Well, we're getting some thank yous. And it fantastic. Thank you. You worked, I feel we worked you really hard, but I know this is what we love doing. And I learned an awful lot about looking within first before we do anything else. And that's such a great message. And the time flew. Thank you so much. I love this format where you can talk directly to people. I think it's so much fun. And for everyone who's been here, thank you so much for your participation, because you've made the call so amazing. And I hope you, well, I know you've got tremendous value because I can see the comments here. But thank you so much for your participation. And thank you so much, Cindy. I'd love to invite you back another time, because I think there are a ton more questions. And it was wonderful what you shared with us. Really brilliant. Thank you.
And you know, I just want to say, your community is awesome. And I feel like, you know, like Nina and I, when we first met, we just clicked like that. And I think, you know, who she attracts is who I tend to attract as well, like real kind, heart-centered people who, you know, are real committed to helping others and building a business that's not just about themselves, but truly about making a difference. So
yeah, and it was wonderful finding out about your businesses, everyone, as well. I'm very enlightened about with what everyone's doing now. I really understand you.
Yeah.
So, thank you. And I will put the replay up. So for people who've missed it, I know some people wanted to be here and they couldn't be here. So thank you, everyone. It's been lovely being here with you all. And thank you so much, Cindy.
Thanks, you guys.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.